Hi, this is Kevin Reeve. This is the Onpoint tactical knife, a knife that I designed to be used as a utility blade in survival situations. I worked prior to starting my own company. I worked for Tom Brown at the Tractor School in New Jersey. I was 8 years the director. And I left to start Onpoint. This is the Onpoint tactical knife. It was designed as a utility blade and has some fighting applications as well. It's manufactured by Tops Knives. It is a 1095 steel blade, high carbon steel, full tang. It's got a cant in the handle. And the purpose of that is to give you better bone alignment so that when you're carving for a long time, you don't have your wrist crooked to do that. It gives you a little bit better control, which allows you to carve for a long period of time. If you're making a bow drill from scratch and you're carving for 45 minutes to do that, you know, this is going to be, you're going to be much less fatigued by the time you're finished. It's about a 3.5 inch blade, which makes it fairly legal in most places. Not so much of a problem. It's a very comfortable grip. When you pick it up and put it in your hands, you're just going to be very, very impressed with how comfortable it is. The handle itself was designed for a friend of mine who has multiple sclerosis. And I watched him, he had these spoons that had big grips on them for him to hold. And so I created this with him in mind. Once I got this in my hand, I went, wow, that's really comfortable. It also has a tactical application in that it allows for bone alignment. When I hold the blade in what we call a palm assist method, the tip of the blade is aligned directly down my arm, which means if I encounter something hard in the process of moving with this blade, if I hit a tree hard, hit something, you know, a bone, it won't slip. One of the things about the thumb release on this knife is that it allows you to use it as a distraction weapon. If I'm closing on you, I can flick the sheath into your face while I'm coming at you. And that gives me a momentary distraction. We're going to be making a survival bow, which will consist of making a quick bow or a survival bow made out of a 4 foot long, 1.5 inch or so sapling. This is not a high performance bow. It's designed for an emergency survival situation. All right, what we have here is a pretty good straight 1.5 to 2 inch stave. We're going to cut this down and carve it into a quickie bow. Yeah, straight and 4 feet long is our objective. All right, so now we have what we're going to use as our bow. It's about 4 feet long. It's a little bit thick, but we'll make it work. So now we're going to go sit down and carve some handles. All right, what I want to do is identify about where my handles are going to be. My handle is going to be. So I'm going to make a mark here and here. Then what I've got to do is I've got to take about half of this wood off. See, I can use this technique to take a great deal of the bulk of the wood down to where it needs to be. I want to make sure this plane is flat. I don't spiral. Cutting a notch now for the bowstring, which we're going to start using the tiller. What I'm doing with this is I'm going to use this to tiller. I have what's called a hinge right there. I've gone too deep and I don't have enough flex out here. On this side's bending pretty good. But right here, you can see it's just bending right there. I've taken too much off there. So I have to take off a whole bunch through here to lighten that up. The purpose of the fletching is to slow the back end down, and the purpose of the forward weight is to allow the front end weight to go faster, so this will probably function pretty well. It will fly relatively stable. As we look at this, we haven't refined it completely, but we're getting pretty good bends out of the tips. And if we refine the center, we'll probably end up with something. But even at this point, I can probably hunt a small animal, hopefully. In process, but it'll work. The arrow flew straight. It didn't have a great deal of force, not enough yet to kill with. But when we finish this thing up, continue working it on both sides, getting the hinges worked out, we will end up with a serviceable bow. What we have here is a good, serviceable, quick bow. It is not a finished bow at this point. It is still in process, and there's a lot more work to do on it, refining the tiller. But it is a serviceable bow. We made it almost entirely with a good utility blade, the Onpoint tactical blade. We used the knife, the axe, to speed the process up, but could have done the entire thing with the knife. So this is a good example of a useful tool making other tools.
Today on Blade HQ, what not to do. SpongeBob, he's the man. That is awesome.
Pressure.